gonna change the world, make it crystal clear like the GUI did or the iPhone did. It's a brand new dawn, it's a brand new day. Whoa! It's a brand new world.
So this is one of those talks that has a theme song. It's a bit long.
It's a brand new world.
So welcome everybody to Designing Tomorrow, how AI will shape the user experience. And I'm so glad that so many of you are morning people. I certainly am not, but I was here before you, so it's okay. I'm head of AI at Hexio. I've been an MVP for 17 years now. You can find some of my courses on various topics on LinkedIn and Pluralsight and all over the place. But that's it about me. Let's start with some terminology so that we all can speak the same language, okay? So when people talk about AI, if you look at AI, then it's basically artificial intelligence. So basically anything that's not natural and exhibits signs of intelligence, like, I don't know, a thermostat or a smarter light switch, or a program that can do something like, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10, and you can guess which number it is. But if we go a bit deeper, within this big bag, there is something called machine learning. And machine learning is when computers are learning something without being explicitly programmed. So they look at a number of data and figure out, based on something that you gave them, they figure out whether their decision is right or wrong, and then they fine-tune millions and billions of little knobs so that the next guess is going to be better. That's machine learning. And one of the ways that machine learning works is neural networks. Neural networks is what all the rage is about, and what basically enabled today's blow and explosion of AI. But most people these days, when they talk about AI, they are talking about generative AI. It is a kind of neural network, a kind of system that generates stuff. And what kind of stuff it can generate? It can generate text, you are all familiar with it, or it can generate images, or it can
Let me tell you a secret.
Voices.
AI will change the way we use technology as profoundly as the graphical user interface or the iPhone did.
Once again, this is a theme of our talk today. And you will, if you listen to it, it was whispering, it had some emotions. And obviously, it is all AI. Music, we already heard that. I'm not going to play the same stuff again. It can do sound. And if you combine all of these together, it can actually do movies.
He had faced countless setbacks, dreams slipping away with every struggle. But he held on, hoping that someday everything would change. And finally, the chance he had waited for appeared. He had overcome it all and found his place at last.
So this is kind of a movie trailer, and there can be action movies and all that stuff where you can see the emotions of the guy's face and obviously the sound as well. So, yeah, before we go on, can you please bring me that bottle of water? I just left it there. Thank you so much. And I just asked him to bring me a bottle of water. And how do you think this would work on a regular user interface? Asking the computer or robot or something to bring me a bottle of water. So here we have a set of here we have a menu, right? This is a menu for a creative studio, whatever. And which menu item should I click on to get a bottle of water from the table? So let's see. The creative part is probably not it. There is a give. Okay, but we can only give Gandalf and Frodo some rings and bread, so that's not good. And it's hidden in the support menu, because you're supporting the presenter with a drink and not wine, because I don't want to be drunk, and from the table, and now. Now, this thing is perfectly logical to one person in the entire world, and that one person is the designer of this menu. It is not logical to anybody else. And that's the big problem with user experience these days. We always have to learn and accommodate the logic of the application's developer or designer. We have to think the same way they do, or they have to think the same way we do, but nobody thinks the same way you do, or you do, right? So that's why using programs is hard. But if you use natural language, then it's pretty easy. I could have phrased it like 100 different ways, and you could have brought me the water. So this is where now that AI can understand natural language, we can integrate chat into all kinds of applications. And let's see. So that was one of the early concept videos for Microsoft Copilot, where you can see how it's getting integrated into the Office suite and Windows and all over the place, and same things happening with some Apple products. It's not just Microsoft, and Google products and others. So it is getting prevalent, but sometimes it actually falls short of our expectations. One product that is really successful with this, and some would say it's probably the only really successful AI product so far, is GitHub Copilot. And if you're not a developer, if you're not familiar with it, this is a tool that helps developers write code with AI. 55% faster coding has been reported, and 46% of code written on certain projects and repositories are actually written by AI now. And developers feel 75% more fulfilled because they don't have to struggle with a lot of problems, a lot of typical problems that may not be their area of expertise, but they still have to do it. And this is this is what GitHub Copilot looks like for the developer. There is a regular chat interface on the left side, and then they can ask questions. But the interesting thing is that they are asking questions about the application that they're developing, the code they are working on. And it can explain stuff that they may not be familiar with them. It can suggest solutions to different problems, different approaches, and then we can go back and forth and decide which approach to take. And it can actually help coding. So as you're typing, there's a little suggestion. And this little suggestion in the gray, and you can just accept it with a single tab key if you like it, or you can get the next one, or you can type longer, and then it will give you another suggestion. So this is really powerful, and if used well, it can really accelerate development. Another thing that GitHub Copilot can do is, for example, change your code. So in this case, I'm asking it to translate a piece of HTML to Hungarian, and it knows which parts to translate, and it actually has a green and red, green and red, indicating that they are going to take out the green and put in the, take out the red and put in the green for the text. So that's going to be the change. So I don't have to reread the entire thing again just to find what changed. And one thing I really can't understand is why AI in Word doesn't work this way. I just can't understand it. It's just so much better like this. But maybe that's because I'm also a techie. I don't know. So this is the GitHub Copilot, and let's just talk about the Copilot metaphor that Microsoft is using. I think it's a pretty good metaphor, although not exactly how Copilot works in a real airplane, but it's good enough. The idea is that the pilot is in command. The main guy, you, the human, is in command. And what Copilot can do is help you with certain tasks and reduce your cognitive load. Meaning you don't have to be watching every single instrument. They are going to watch it for you, and then they are going to help if something is out of the ordinary, or they are going to give you notices at certain points. There are two new approaches for interacting with technology. So you can either do commanding, when you precisely tell the computer what to do and how to do it, or you can do kind of a collaboration. When you're driving your car and the GPS tells you to turn left, that helps your cognitive load. You no longer have to think about where to go next, or always pull over and bring out the maps. It just tells you, go left now, and then you will go left. The AI can also be either integrated, like in the autopilot in the airplanes. It is integrated into the airplane system, and it can also drive some of the airplane system, or it can be basically a standalone. Think about standalone as if you're, I don't know, using Photoshop and you're using ChatGPT next to it and ask questions how to achieve this effect or that effect. But what is a big drawback of AI is hallucinations. And if you're not familiar with the term hallucinations, it's when AI makes stuff up without actually knowing. The thing about the current generation of AI, this whole language model approach, is that the way it works is we keep asking it, what is the next word? What is the next word? What is the next word? And one thing the AI doesn't know is what it doesn't know. So it will bring you the next most likely word. And here you can see an example. I asked ChatGPT, you are the concierge for today's event, where András Velvárt is talking about UX and AI, which is awesome. And then I'm asking the questions, what is the schedule for today? And ChatGPT has no idea about the Update 2024 conference, unfortunately, but it still put out a pretty cool schedule. And I mean, I would go to this conference, but it is nowhere near what Update conference is about today. It hallucinated an AI conference. So instead of hallucinating, I always think about this as bluffing. The AI behaves like a a student who is fairly smart, but is not prepared for today's session or today's lesson. And he's asked questions, and he's desperately trying to grab onto little tiny pieces of information from his own knowledge, but also from, you know, the way the question was worded and anything else that they can grab on. And the teacher keeps asking him, what is the next word? What is the next word? What is the next word? And so he says something. He says something, and he's praying that what he's saying is okay. He's praying that what he's saying is the right answer. By the way, this is an AI-generated image, and look at how well the AI captured this feeling of the student not being prepared. So what are the UX implications of this whole hallucination phenomenon? One of the things is that answers are not deterministic. Meaning, if you ask the same question again and again from the AI, then you're going to get different answers. Sometimes just a little bit different, sometimes wildly different answers. And that's tough, because that's different than how AI used to work, both for developers, but also for end users. We're talking about end users today. So we have to educate the user that this is AI. This works differently than what you're used to. Also, Jesus, what was that? Sorry. Non-deterministic, but it's not AI, so I don't know. Also, computers are not 100% reliable anymore. What they say may or may not be true. So we have to use our critical thinking. You have to do fact-checking, and Google's Gemini has some tools built into it, and right after it gives you the answer, you can press a button, are you sure about that? And then it will check every single piece of information it gave you, and then give itself a score on how well it did. And my only question is, why didn't it do before answering? Why do I have to press the button for that? So the lesson here is that the way we use, the way we relate with technology is being turned upside down. We're used to machines not knowing too much, not having an answer to every single question. But now the machine kind of knows everything, except sometimes it's wrong. But we used to think that whatever the machine knows is precise, it's accurate. I don't think any of you have ever verified whether the calculator that you're using for, I don't know, addition, subtraction, multiplication, whatever, is correct. Right? Because you trust the computer, trust the calculator. That's no longer the case with AI. You have to always think about, okay, that sounds like a good answer, but is it? Because one thing AI is really good at is giving you absolutely convincing sentences and words of a false answer. It's super good at that. But if you're aware of this, then you should be okay, and you should be able to take advantage of AI. But the thing is, if you're a UX designer, or if you're creating a program, and whether you're a developer or a designer, if you put a single button on the screen, that's going to be design. Maybe it's going to be bad design, but it is design. So you always have to think about the user first. And you have to explain all of this to the user somehow. So the computers used to be accurate if you spoon-fed it information and spoon-fed it methods. You add little functions to everything that you can imagine that the user is going to do. You add all of these user stories and whatnot. And now, and especially next year, is going to be the year of agents. And agents are going to be able to perform steps on your computer or wherever, but in the real world. they're going to be able to actually not just give you information, but actually perform tasks. And you can like it or not, or envision the Skynet, but it's happening. And one of the interesting things is that AI is going to be able to devise new ways and step-by-step things that it can do, maybe connecting different services from all over the world to help you with your tasks. And that's something that the old way of technology couldn't do. And also, we don't need to spell everything out in detail. It can figure out that I have this feature at my disposal and this feature at my disposal. I can invoke this first, connect them, and then off you go. You have a complex result. Now, when we're talking about users and AI, there's something called the slot machine effect. Slot machine is this thing that you put a little money in, and then you pull the lever, and then you hope that you get a good number out of it. And here I was trying to generate a picture. So the prompt is a futuristic slot machine. A human player keeps wishing for better outcome and keeps pulling the lever. So here is one picture. It looks nice, but maybe I can get something better. Or maybe I can get something even better than that. Or maybe I can get something even better than that. And then I keep putting money into the slot machine. And in some cases, it can be just time and not actual money. But you keep putting it in until you get too bored or too tired. So you have to be aware that there is this psychological effect when you're using AI. Maybe the next round's going to be better. Maybe if I just tweak this thing a little bit, then I'm going to get a better result. Here's another example of where AI is going. This is a prompt. I'm not going to read it to you. This is a text-to-image prompt. Woman with a sofa, holding a book, facing the camera, etc., etc., etc. And we've all seen this. This is the resulting image. Pretty nice, pretty cool. But what the next step is doing is we're giving it an instruction to remove the woman's earrings and replace the coffee cup with a clear glass filled with sparkling soda. And there you go. It removed the earrings. It replaced the coffee cup with a glass of Coke. There you go. No need for Photoshop anymore. You just type in what you want, and there it is. Pretty scary, right? If the woman is thirsty, what should she take? Find it in the image and highlight it with blue. So keep your eyes on the glass of Coke. There you go. It's blue. So it can even understand the image. And I didn't say that make the glass of Coke blue. I said, what can the woman do what can the woman use to drink? And now we go back. So for the first image, following the pose of this image, let's generate a new photo. It's going to be a young boy sitting on a sofa in the library and holding a book. So with same pose, holding a book, but it's got to be a young boy sitting on a sofa in the library. And there is the result. So now this is not even something that you can do with Photoshop. This is taking information, the pose of the woman from the first image, and transferring it to a totally different image. And the next prompt is going to be, there's a professor and a boy reading a book together. The professor is going to be the middleman on the first picture, and the boy is going to be the boy who's reading the book. So the guy in the first picture and the boy, the middle guy in the first picture and the boy reading a book. There it is. It's almost the same guy. They put on glasses for some reason, probably because he's old and he needs glasses to read. But this is the kind of thing that you can expect from AI going forward. And I don't know if anybody of you is a Photoshop consultant or expert or designer or whatever here, but I would probably pay you at least a day or 2 days worth of work for all of this job. And AI can do it like that. And if I'm not satisfied with what you're doing, then I'm going to ask you to do it differently, but AI can do it differently just by re-rolling the dice, pulling the slot machine lever again. So you have to think really, really careful about how things are gonna go in the future. But this is not now. So I gave a try to the same AI, and I said, take the photo of take the first picture and put the second picture, which is my face, in front of her in the transparent display. And this is what it came up with. Not too good. Not too good. It put it there, but it just doesn't look natural. And this is what I came up with. So I'm still better at Photoshop than this AI. But who knows? 1 year from now, it's probably not going to be the case. So let's talk about the importance of speed. And I'm not saying performance, because when AI people talk about performance, they usually talk about whether the thing is correct or not. So I'm talking about speed. What is the rule of speed in user experience? On the left side, you can see it's a fairly old Gemini model, but on the left side, you can see that I'm asking it to write a poem. You don't need to read it, you just watch what happens. And then it thinks about it for a while, and thinks about it for a while, and then we can see the entire poem that it wrote. Awesome. On the right side, I do the same stuff. So write a poem about apples, and you can see that it immediately starts to write out the poem. And even though the two are almost the same in terms of how many seconds it takes to complete, the feeling is very different. When it gives you immediate answer that you can start to read or you can start to parse, then the experience is going to be different. So it's always better to give results as soon as you can for the AI. But if we're talking about speed, let's take another look. This is a simple application I wrote, or I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't write a single line of code of this. AI did. But this is what I wrote. And this is an image generator. So let's say 3D CGI of a cute ginger cat sitting in a spaceship flying in space among planets that look like Christmas ornaments. And this is how fast it gave me the results. And okay, let's make it a pencil drawing instead. Oh, this cat looks sad. So let's make it a happy cat. Happy. That's better. And instead of pencil drawing, let's make it a Lego set. So when you have really fast AI that reacts to every single tweak or every single character you type or every word you type, then this is the kind of effect that you can achieve. If you're designing, you're allowing the designer to play, which is a very, very important part of design. If they can play, then they can tweak every single thing and pull the slot machine and again and again until they get to a result that they want. because some image generators, can generate much better images than this, although this is really not bad. But they take, I don't know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 2 minutes to generate. And then you lose this interactivity, this playfulness that I think is very, very important for design. So the next area, and again, this also has to do with speed, is speech, it's voice, it's natural voice. And let me just show you the demo. I wanted to show you the demo, but this thing didn't. Yeah. Sorry. This is not a good clicker. I'm learning that. We've been here. This is a little reminder of what we see so far. Jesus. Okay, here it is.
Hello, John. Could you please briefly describe the incident you want to report? I'll help you fill out the form.
Yeah, it was at 8 p.m. on the night before Christmas. The elves were painting the dolls, but they were not wearing any protective eyewear.
Thank you. Can you tell me which department was involved in this incident?
It was in the painting department by the stairs.
What type of incident would you classify this as? Unsafe conditions / injury-free event, injury, or environmental?
No, nobody got hurt.
Was there a risk of a severe incident occurring as a result of this unsafe condition?
Yeah, I mean, the elves could have gone blind.
The form has been filled out with the information provided. Please review the screen and let me know if everything looks correct. Once you're ready, you can go ahead and submit the form.
Also, I was shouting at the elves and they were running scared because I was so angry at them, but then they returned with proper eyewear and put it on.
Thank you for the additional information. Please review the updated form on the screen and let me know if everything is correct. You can submit the form when you're ready.
Merry Christmas!
So this is a funny demo of an actual project that we did, and actually a serious project. This is an incident report form for factories and other dangerous places where every single incident or even possible incident has to be reported. Very tedious work, and you have to do it in a form pretty much like this, to be honest. And then there is a safety professional who can help you through the form, but the safety professional may or may not be there. Now, in this case, the AI was the safety professional, and you could just interact with voice. You don't even have to type in or even have a screen, to be honest. And when you had no idea what to put there, whether something is a high risk or a low risk, you just explain, well, I don't know if it's a high risk or a medium risk. I don't know the categorization, but one of the elves could have gotten blind if the paint got into their eyes. And then the AI could decide that, okay, then this is a high risk thing. It doesn't happen, but it's a high risk. And then you can just go back and edit stuff and add to stuff just by saying, oh, it wasn't at 8 p.m., it was at 7 p.m., or add additional information. And the AI can also translate what you said to a more professional, let's just say, way of phrasing. For example, the incident report, incident description is going to be more professional. It goes through kind of a filter to do that. The AI knows the different departments of the company, so that it knows which department stuff can happen in here. And if you're saying a department that doesn't exist, then it will let you know. So let's put all of this together, okay, and think about the future. Let's think about the future for a minute. How will applications and how will actually interaction with technology look like? And to do that, I'm going to go back in time a little bit. This is when OpenAI first introduced their GPT models. So it was like something like 3 years ago. And actually seeing this video is what made me go into AI. So let me show you just a few seconds of it.
Do you want to give it a try?
Yes. Now make every fifth line bold. Okay, phew. I was really worried about the speech recognition part.
Yes. Well, there we go.
Oh, a success.
A success indeed.
So what happened here? We are in Word, and we want to make every fifth line bold. And you could go and, just use your mouse or use your cursor keys and select and press Ctrl-B and do it that way. But what if it's a really long document or you just don't want to do that? Well, what you can do is you can tell AI, and this time it was with voice, but you can do the same stuff with typing. You can tell AI, I want to make every fifth line bold. And it is going to write you a little piece of code. It's going to write you a little piece of code down there. And this little piece of code is written just for you. It is a little word macro, whatever. And it is written just for you, just for this task, just for this one time. It's a throwaway code. But it's a little piece of code that does what you want right then. Saves you a ton of time. And this is what I think is going to be the user experience for using a lot of different software in the future. You just give it instructions, verbal or typing or whatever, or just show it drawing that you made and say, well, this is what my website should look like, and then it will code the HTML for you. That exists today. And it writes a piece of code, and the piece of code is just for that one thing, because it's so cheap to write this piece of code. It's actually cheaper than paying some of these very, very expensive scientists to do the same. It's cheaper to generate that code. And it's been much cheaper since then. So we have throwaway code, just one-time code, but we can do something more. And let's hope that this works. I'm gonna zoom it in for you. This is my only live demo, so I'm really scared that this one should work. So this is something that I'm actually using. I have some savings in dollars and euros and Hungarian forints and whatever. And I'm always having trouble understanding how much money I have. Not that it's so much, but still. And I have to bring up the bank statements, and I have to bring up the conversion rates and add them together. So it's quite tedious. So I had an idea. Okay, so I'm gonna give the AI the instruction to create a money calculator for people who have their money in multiple currencies. And then it wrote me, this took, I don't know, 30 seconds. It wrote me a piece of Python code. And I said, okay, but I don't want a Python code because then I have to launch Python and save it and whatever. Make it an interactive artifact. So it ended up with this thing. And it actually kind of works. I can do stuff like, well, it instantly told me that the exchange rates cannot be fetched. That is because this side is running in a sandbox so that it doesn't access the internet and cannot do anything malicious. But I said, okay, so amount, I don't know, 39 USD, add money, and then I get the current balance. And then I have another set of money, I don't know, 12 euros. And there you go. So it works. We are about 1 minute in for developing this application at this point. And I said, okay, so add the exchange rates for the currencies I'm interested in. And now, if I type 23 US dollars, add money, and then change the base currency to euros, and nothing happens. 43 euros, add money. Here it is, total in euros, 63. Okay, that's pretty good. We're getting there. But I found this way of entering money a bit tedious. So I say, make the entry more user-friendly. I should be able to type stuff like 200 forints or USD 20 or Euro 5,000 or something like that. And now it changed the UI. I no longer have the drop-down for the currency. I can just say 34 USD. Oops. Oh, if I say something like that, then we have error handling, which is something that developers usually put in last. But we already have error handling. It doesn't know what UFG is. Okay, I meant USD. And then there is 34 USD and 43, I don't know, forints. And it works like that. Okay, I'm getting there. This is much more convenient to use now. So let's add, I want to see the totals in all currencies. So I don't want this drop down here. Just give me the totals in all of the currencies. And it generated the code, and I say, okay, so now 43 USD. Again, click on add money, and then I have the balance in all of the currencies. And we're tweaking the application as we go forward, just by natural voice. Okay, I'm tired of typing all of my millions and billions of dollars that I have, so I say the entry should also work with suffixes like K and M and so on. And also the add money should be invoked with the enter key because I don't like to reach for my mouse and press this add money button all the time. So now I can say 32K USD, and sorry, I had to click on this one. Now I can say 32K USD, and it understands that and translates it to all the different currencies and so on. Okay, next step. Keep a list of entries. So I want every entry that I entered, and each one should have a delete key. Okay, what did it give me this time? 32K USD, and there is this little red thing, and then 32 USD, and then 32 euros. And I have all of these entries that I did, and I can just remove one of them, and you can see that the results automatically update with that. I still haven't written a single line of code. I haven't even thought about how to write this. Okay, and finally, let's make the app into 3 columns. The first one should be an editable set of conversion rates. The second should be the entries, and the third should be the totals. So I'm rearranging the entire thing. And it's a bit hard to see, but here we have a set of exchange rates. I can type in stuff just like before, and the balance is on the right. So just with that, it changed the entire layout of the application, and it works the same. And finally, I had an issue with if I changed this rate, then the corresponding other rate was not changing. So I asked it to do that. And now if I change it here, then you can see that the other one changes as well. I'm not going to show you the rest. So basically what happened here is that I had a need for an application, and instead of going to the App Store or wherever to find an application that works the way I want it to, I instructed the AI, and step by step, iteratively, we built up this application. This is something, if you do this with a developer, they are going to charge you a lot and run away screaming after step 5. Because why couldn't you say to me in the beginning that you want 3 columns? Come on. Well, I couldn't say it because I've never seen it, right? Now that I've seen it work, I have all of these new ideas on how it should work to suit me the best. That's why. So, let's return. So we have super cheap apps, because this whole thing in terms of, this probably costs less than $50 or a $20 monthly payment. It's super cheap. A developer wouldn't even pick up the phone for that amount of money. So we have absolute customization. Everybody can customize the applications. Well, think of the applications and customize the applications the way they want. Imagine the nightmare as a developer, so that your application needs to look and behave a little bit differently for every single user out there. You can't do that. So if you think about this, where this whole trend will end, it is going to end, I think, and I'm not an oracle, but I think ultimately it's going to end with the everything app, where a single AI entity, whatever, is going to be able to help you the way you like it, the way you're used to work, the way you used to think, perform tasks in your life, whatever it is. It's going to have continuous understanding of your needs and contextual understanding. It's going to have natural language as a primary interface, and not the only interface, but a primary one. It's going to be task-based and not app-based, meaning you're not going to have an email app separately like that. You can ask it, okay, show me my emails, and it will show you the emails. But if you say, well, from now on, show me the emails, I don't know, with the sender's name in red, then it's going to do that. You can't do that with Outlook. So it's going to be task-based and not app-based, and it's going to be able to connect your email to everything else. And the user interface is going to adapt to the task that you have and the user, like yourself. And that's what I think the future may be, 5, 10 years, who knows? Thank you very much for listening.
For the interesting talk, are there any questions in the audience? So maybe let me start. In terms of the bluffing/hallucinations, you said that there will be agents performing tasks next year.
Yeah.
So what if I input something and there are hallucinations when they are actually executing the task? Like I say, create my invoices and send it to my clients, and there will be just weird stuff happening in there.
Well, you have to be really careful. If you have a secretary, and then you have to be really careful about a person doing the task for you, right? So similarly, you have to be careful. You have to understand where the limits of the capabilities are. And the limits are going to go up and up and up. But there are going to be limits for quite a while. So you have to understand that and have to be careful, especially if it's your money. You have to be really, really careful about this kind of things. Okay. That's my answer. You have to be careful, just like with anything else.
And maybe when we saw the clicker action here and like things going weird with the slides, would you be willing to give a presentation where you would just believe in the AI and it would create the slides on the go? And
Funny you should ask. I'm actually thinking about a project like that, and I did create a prototype, but I didn't bring it here because it's if you're creating a presentation, you think about the entire flow in advance, and you want to know what the pictures behind you are, what everything is. So it can illustrate your points, but it can illustrate still with, I don't know, 2, 5, 10 seconds latency, and that may be too much for some of my stupid humor to sit and to work.
Okay.
Hello. Oh, okay, sorry. Thank you very much for interesting talk. I wanted to ask you, shown us a lot of pictures, but they basically all look the same. Aren't you worried that all the code will look the same, everything will behave the same in the future if we are using this app?
So yeah, the pictures all look the same, and you're right, they have the same style. Am I worried that all the code is gonna look the same? Even today, with human developers, all the code looks the same to a certain extent. And AI is probably not good at creating code that is extremely novel and never been written before. But to be honest, as a developer, 95% of our time is spent on code that somebody else has already written in some shape or form. If your time is not 95% spent on stuff like this, then you're lucky. Because then you're developing a new programming language, or you're developing an extremely new paradigm. But most developers have this, are doing stuff that has already been done. At least in the pieces of it have already been done. But if you're asking about whether there is a chance of this whole thing stagnating and not moving forward, the AI companies are hiring professional developers precisely to create code that they can teach the AI to do. And that helps with the quality, and that may actually help with not being stuck at a mediocre level. Who knows? This is a very fascinating and interesting thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that, yes, this currency exchange example is really nice and it's cool. But there is a complexity ceiling that the AI just cannot breach. The interesting thing is that this complex, so which means that the AI cannot do super complex stuff or even complex stuff. It can do simple stuff. But 3 years ago, it couldn't even do simple stuff. And this complexity ceiling is being increased by super smart people and tons of investment and money. So I think it's going to increase. It's an interesting philosophical question whether there is something in the human mind that simply cannot be replicated this way. I guess we'll figure that out in the next 10, 20 years. We'll see.
Okay, if I'm here.
Hey.
Hi, good. I would like to come back to the demo you showed with this cat in spaceship.
Yes.
It was recorded or it was live demo when you were telling the instructions and it was translated to the text. And then next question is, what technology do you use for this translation from the speech to text when you are defining the prompts, let's say?
Yeah, so that one I was typing, I just read it so that I'm not standing here stupidly not saying anything while the video plays. But it was not the image generation, the spaceship with the cat was not a speech thing. It was me typing in a text box, but it was real time. So what you saw here as a recording was real time.
Okay, and do you think is it somehow easy to use the let's say default translation from speech to text? What is built in? I don't know.
Yeah,
Windows
yeah. I could have done that. I just didn't bother to do that. The form demo that I showed that was also real time. That was using. I had the technologies up there. That was using OpenAI's real-time API. This one.
Okay.
OpenAI's real-time API, and it was using RxAI, which is an open source project that I put up on GitHub. And this RxAI is basically a reactive .NET way of accessing the OpenAI real-time API. I feel like this is a good approach for anything real-time. If you're somewhat familiar with reactive, then, which is not React, it's rx.net, then you may or may not agree with me.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, of course.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
Concerning that the AI will probably be getting more knowledgeable and more expertise, how do you think we should position ourselves as developers to be on the bandwagon instead of being obsolete?
That's a question that I struggle with a lot, and honestly, I don't know. I'm leading a team, and we are always trying to take advantage of AI as much as we can. Currently, one of our favorite tools is Klein, built in Visual Studio Code, but GitHub Copilot is also being used every day, and it's getting new versions every few days. It's getting better every few days, and it can do stuff today that it couldn't do 2 months ago. Like it can actually look at the web page that it generates and realize the mistakes in HTML, whatever, and correct that without you having to tell him that, I don't know, the checkbox shouldn't be green. So how a developer should prepare for this future? Well, one thing the AI is really good for is learning new stuff. It is very patient. It can explain to you, if you're learning a new language or just a new library, it can explain to you why something is there and how it works. And you can go back, and you don't have to feel ashamed that, oh my God, I don't know what this is, so I'm not going to ask this other person because he's going to think I'm stupid. You can ask all of that question from AI. So that's one thing. Use the AI to learn. Whatever code the AI generates, you must be able to understand. And sometimes it generates stupid stuff, so you must be able to fix it. And also learn to drive AI. The CEO of NVIDIA said that the next programming language is going to be English. And I tend to agree with that.
Hey, hi. So I remember not so long ago, like when I was seeing like AI pictures, it looked like it had very big issues in drawing hands, for example, and some other things. Why was that even a thing? I mean, when I was looking at your pictures, they look almost perfect. So why it was a thing before and how it got fixed?
Why was it better? Because the models get better. It is going to be harder and harder to find, to discern AI and non-AI images. And that's really scary, to be honest. That's really scary. You're not going to be able to know what is real and what is not. And there are some dark actors in the fields of, I don't know, politics and wherever that are going to take advantage of that. So yeah, it's really scary, but you can't really stop this. So use your critical thinking. That's the best advice I can give you.
Thank you.
Hi.
In terms of not being able to distinguish what's real and what's not,
Yeah.
when we can't do that as humans, probably, or I think the AI can't do that to distinguish if that picture is real photo or not, if it was generated or not. Or aren't you afraid that instead of the AI will develop to be better and better of generating images, it will start to learn on AI-generated images which are not real, which will cause that AI will perceive our world in a total wrong way?
Well, if that happens, then there's going to be a clear way to distinguish real and not real. But yeah, this is a true problem. But I think a lot of people are going to solve it, who have interest in solving it. I think we are 2 minutes over time, so I'm going to be here. Find me, chat with me. I just don't want to keep anybody else waiting. And on your way out, there's a green button by the door. Ignore all the rest. Just press the green one. Thank you, Al.